The restaurant buzzed with quiet conversations and clinking glasses, but all Emma could hear was the piercing wail of her baby. Her arms rocked gently, but little Noah wouldn't stop crying. Customers glanced over with sympathetic eyes, and Emma's cheeks burned with embarrassment. She was a waitress, struggling to balance a demanding job and her newborn's endless tears. Between tables and orders, Emma tried everything, feeding, swaddling, singing softly, but nothing soothed him. Her exhaustion was visible, but she kept smiling, hoping to make it through her shift. Just when she thought she might break down, a calm voice interrupted her panic. "Let me try," said a deep, kind tone. Emma turned to see a man in a tailored suit, quietly seated at a corner table. His eyes were warm but carried a hint of sadness, as if life had been both generous and cruel to him. She hesitated, but desperation won. Gently, she handed over Noah. The man cradled the baby effortlessly, his hands steady, his expression softening. Noah's cries began to fade into soft coos, eyes locking onto the stranger's face. The entire restaurant seemed to pause as an unexpected moment of connection blossomed between the widowed billionaire and the restless infant. Emma watched, heart pounding, as Noah's tears dried and a smile crept across his tiny face. The man looked up at her and whispered, "Sometimes, love is all it takes." In that instant, Emma realized this stranger's kindness was more than a simple gesture, it was a reminder of humanity's power to heal, even in the smallest moments. But what happened next would change everything. Emma felt a rush of relief she hadn't known in days as Noah finally calmed in the stranger's arms. The restaurant's background noise returned, soft chatter, the occasional clatter of plates, but Emma's focus was fixed on the man and her baby. She found a moment to catch her breath and asked, "How did you do that?" The man smiled gently, "Babies sense peace. I've learned that over the years, though it's not always easy." His eyes darkened slightly, revealing a story untold. "I lost my wife 2 years ago. Since then, I've tried to find calm in little things, like moments with children." Emma's heart softened. Here was a man who had faced deep loss, yet still held tenderness in his hands. She wondered what had brought him to this restaurant tonight, and why fate chose this moment for them to meet. Noah now rested comfortably, his tiny fingers curling around the man's shirt. Emma's exhaustion melted away, replaced by curiosity and gratitude. "Would you like to join me for a coffee?" she asked hesitantly. The man nodded, rising from his seat and following Emma to a quiet corner. Over steaming cups, their conversation unfolded slowly, revealing shared dreams and struggles despite their different worlds. Emma spoke about her hopes for Noah and her worries about making ends meet. The man shared stories of love lost and the loneliness that followed. Suddenly, the restaurant door swung open, and a woman hurried inside, scanning the room anxiously. Her eyes locked onto the man, and she called his name softly. Emma's eyes widened. Was this the moment to understand who this man really was? The woman approached, but instead of sadness, her face brightened. "I'm so glad you're here. We need your help," she said urgently. The man exchanged a look with Emma, then turned to the woman. "Let's talk." Emma watched, heart pounding, wondering what this unexpected encounter meant for them all, and how kindness might ripple beyond just one quiet evening. Emma's heart raced as the woman's urgent words hung in the air. She watched the man, this stranger who had just calmed her crying baby, step aside and listen intently. The tension in his face softened, replaced by resolve. Curiosity gnawed at Emma. Who were these two, and what did they need? After a few moments, the woman looked back at Emma with apologetic eyes. "I'm sorry for the interruption," she said softly. "My name is Claire. This is Michael, he's my brother." Emma blinked, surprised by the simple introduction. Michael's presence suddenly felt more real, less like a distant figure. "Michael's been away for a long time," Claire explained. "He's been managing some family affairs since our father passed. But now, there's a problem with the foundation we run, a charity for families in need." They're struggling, and Michael is trying to save it. Emma's mind raced. She understood too well what it meant to struggle. Michael nodded, adding, I came here tonight to clear my head, but then I met you and Noah. It reminded me why this charity matters, because kindness changes lives, even the smallest ones. Emma smiled, feeling a deep connection. You've already changed ours. For the first time that evening, the restaurant felt warm and full of hope, not just noise and stress. Claire glanced at Noah, then back at Emma. Would you consider volunteering with us? Your story, it's inspiring. We want to help more families like yours. Emma's eyes welled up. She never imagined a simple night at work could open a door like this. Before she could respond, Michael held Noah again, the baby cooing softly in his arms. Sometimes, Michael said quietly, it takes a village. Emma nodded, feeling a spark of something new, hope, possibility, and the undeniable power of kindness connecting strangers. As they sat together, an unexpected friendship blossomed, born from tears, loss, and the promise of brighter days ahead. In the days that followed, Emma found herself drawn to the charity Michael and Claire managed. Between her shifts at the restaurant and caring for Noah, she volunteered whenever she could. Each visit filled her with renewed strength and a surprising sense of belonging. Michael often joined her, always carrying Noah with an ease that made Emma smile. The baby's laughter became a soundtrack to their growing friendship, a living reminder of how compassion could bridge worlds. One afternoon, as they sorted donations at the foundation's warehouse, Michael confided, I wasn't sure I'd ever find peace after losing Mom. But meeting you and Noah, it's changed everything. Emma looked up, touched by his honesty. Loss teaches us to appreciate the moments we have. Like now. Michael nodded thoughtfully. You remind me that life isn't about the wealth we accumulate, but the love we share. Their conversations often paused when Noah reached out to them, his tiny hands clutching fingers, his wide eyes full of trust. Emma saw how Michael softened around her son, as if healing invisible wounds. One evening, as Emma closed the restaurant, Michael surprised her with a quiet invitation. There's an event tomorrow for families the foundation supports. I'd love for you and Noah to come. Emma hesitated, unsure if she could juggle everything. But seeing Michael's hopeful expression, she agreed. The next day, the event was a lively celebration of community, children playing, families sharing meals, and strangers becoming friends. Emma felt the warmth of a true village, the same village Michael had spoken of. At one point, Noah, usually shy, toddled over to Michael and wrapped his tiny arms around him. Michael's eyes glistened with tears. You've given me more than I could ask for, he whispered. Emma realized then that kindness was a circle, endlessly giving and receiving. And sometimes, the smallest acts, like a billionaire holding a crying baby, could change lives forever. Months passed, and Emma's life began to change in ways she never expected. With Michael's support, the foundation thrived, reaching more families struggling to find hope. Emma's own worries eased as new opportunities opened, and she felt stronger than ever before. One crisp evening, the restaurant where Emma worked hosted a fundraiser for the charity. The place was filled with laughter, music, and faces both familiar and new. Emma stood near the entrance, watching Michael mingle with guests, his easy smile lighting up the room. Noah, now walking confidently, ran toward Michael and hugged him tightly. The crowd around them softened, witnessing a moment that symbolized more than just friendship, it was a testament to human kindness. Michael approached Emma, eyes shining with gratitude. You brought light into my world when I thought all was lost, he said. And look at Noah, he's brought joy to mine. Emma smiled, feeling the weight of those words. You showed me that even when life's hardest, kindness can open doors we didn't know existed. Later, as the event wound down, Emma looked around the room, families sharing stories, strangers connecting, and hope blossoming everywhere. She realized that this all began with one simple moment, a crying baby, a weary mother, and a widowed billionaire who dared to say, "Let me try." That night, as Emma tucked Noah into bed, she whispered softly, "Kindness changes everything." Outside, the city lights twinkled like stars, and Emma knew the truth of those words would carry far beyond this night. Because kindness, selfless, unexpected, and pure, had the power to heal, to connect, and to transform lives. And sometimes, it takes just one person willing to hold a crying child to start that beautiful change.